Picture for a moment that every difficulty you face, every fear, every doubt about yourself is not simply a barrier to overcome, but rather a guide pointing you toward your true calling. Consider this. What if the secret to understanding your real identity and destiny lies in those very parts of you that you've long neglected, repressed, or denied? Today, we'll dive into one of the most transformative ideas in both psychology and philosophy, Carl Jung's concept of the shadow. This discussion goes beyond abstract theory. It's about revealing profound truths that have the power to reshape your life. By the end of this journey, you will not only grasp the nature of your shadow, but also uncover how it holds the key to your purpose, potential, and freedom. The ultimate insight we reveal might be the most powerful of all. Jung, a pioneer of depth psychology, maintained that the shadow is the unconscious portion of ourselves that we reject. It encompasses all the traits, desires, and facets of our personality that we deem unacceptable or shameful. Yet paradoxically, this very shadow contains the seeds of our greatest strengths and the blueprint for a fulfilling life. Reflect on it. How often do we avoid certain thoughts or behaviors simply because they unsettle us? How frequently do we criticize others for qualities we secretly recognize in ourselves? If you've ever caught yourself reacting intensely to someone else's behavior, it's likely because they have triggered a part of your own shadow. Jung once remarked that everything that irritates us in others can serve as a doorway to self-understanding. The shadow isn't solely about darkness. It also represents untapped potential, the energy we bury out of fear or shame. Take a moment to consider your own life. Are there aspects of yourself that you deliberately keep hidden from others or even from yourself? Perhaps it's a fear of failure, a deep-seated anger, or a lingering envy. Maybe it's a passion or desire you've convinced yourself is impractical or wrong. What if these facets weren't defects to eliminate, but messages waiting to be decoded? Jung believed that by facing our shadow, we can integrate it into our conscious awareness, sparking what he called individuation, a journey toward becoming whole. This path isn't easy. It demands courage, honesty, and a willingness to step into the unknown, yet its rewards are immeasurable. Jung described individuation as the quest to discover who you truly are, not just the mask you present to the world, but the complete authentic self that blends both light and dark. He argued that our greatest growth comes not from rejecting our shadow, but from embracing it. Consider this. Every hero in mythology encounters a moment when they must confront their own inner darkness. Think of the Greek hero Hercules, who battled not only external monsters but also his own anger and imperfections, or Luke Skywalker in Star Wars, who had to face his inner darkness before truly becoming a Jedi. These stories mirror our own inner journeys. The question is, are you ready to take that first step? Are you prepared to examine the parts of yourself that you have long avoided and ask what they're trying to teach you? Jung's philosophy tells us that the shadow isn't an adversary but a guide. It whispers to us through our dreams, our fears, and even our relationships. Have you ever had a recurring dream or felt an inexplicable pull toward a particular idea or person? These might be signs of your shadow reaching out. The work with your shadow begins with awareness. Notice the emotions and reactions that seem overly intense or out of proportion. These are often clues pointing to the hidden aspects of your being. Once you recognize these traits, the next step is acceptance. This doesn't mean acting on every impulse or satisfying every desire. It means acknowledging these parts of yourself without judgment and understanding their role in your life. Imagine the freedom of no longer fearing your imperfections, but instead seeing them as tools for growth. Think about how much more genuine and confident you'd feel by embracing your entire self. In the sections that follow, we'll explore deeper strategies to identify and integrate your shadow. We'll reveal practical steps for turning what seems like darkness into light and show how this integration can guide you toward your true purpose. Remember, the most profound insight is still ahead. Stay with us, because by the journey's end, you'll have a roadmap not only for understanding your shadow, but for using it as a compass toward your destiny. Let's continue this exploration into the depths of your inner world and uncover the extraordinary potential that lies within. Let's delve further into the mysterious realm of the shadow and discover how understanding this hidden aspect of yourself can unlock not only your purpose, but also a deep sense of inner peace. The shadow manifests in countless ways. It can emerge in our habits, our relationships, and especially in our reactions. Have you ever experienced an emotional outburst and later wondered why you reacted so strongly? That moment when emotion overwhelms reason is often your shadow making itself known. But why does the shadow hold such power over us? Jung believed that its power stems from its unconscious nature. The more we deny or suppress an aspect of ourselves, the more dominion it gains. It's like trying to submerge a beach ball. The harder you push, the more forcefully it rebounds when you can no longer contain it. Now consider this. If you could elevate that hidden part to the surface and understand its origins, how much more control would you have over your life? how much freer would you feel? One of the most compelling examples of working with the shadow is the concept of projection. Jung argued that when we disown parts of ourselves, we often see those very traits in others, intensifying our reactions. For instance, if you struggle with feelings of inadequacy, you might find yourself criticizing those who appear overconfident, or dismissing individuals who excel in areas where you feel insecure. This isn't merely a psychological quirk, it's a mirror reflecting back to us the parts of ourselves we haven't yet acknowledged. As Jung explained, recognizing your own darkness is the best method for dealing with the darkness you see in others. Reflect for a moment. Is there someone in your life who sparks a powerful emotional reaction? Whether it's a colleague, a friend, or a family member, rather than focusing solely on their behavior, ask yourself, what does my reaction reveal about me? Which part of my shadow am I projecting onto them? This isn't about self-blame, it's about self-discovery. Every projection offers an opportunity to reclaim a piece of yourself and bring it into the light of awareness. Let's expand on this idea by examining how the shadow connects to our purpose. Often, the aspects we suppress are tightly linked to our unique talents and passions. For example, someone who stifles their creativity out of fear of failure might find that embracing this hidden side ultimately guides them to their true calling. Jung believed that purpose isn't something found externally, it's unearthed within. It arises from aligning with your authentic self, shadow included. In his own words, the greatest privilege in life is to become who you truly are. But how do we begin this process of alignment? It starts with self-inquiry, asking yourself challenging questions about your identity. What do I fear most about myself? What have others labeled as unacceptable in me? What passions or dreams have I abandoned because they seemed impractical or unworthy? Write these down and reflect upon them. You may be surprised at what emerges when you give your shadow a voice. Another powerful tool in shadow work is journaling. Jung himself maintained extensive journals to explore his unconscious mind, and he often encouraged his patients to record their dreams, as dreams provide a direct line to the unconscious. In your dreams, the shadow frequently appears in symbolic forms: a person, an animal, or even an event. Pay attention to recurring themes or symbols and ask, what message is my unconscious trying to send? Now let's contemplate the transformative power of integrating the shadow. Imagine an artist who refuses to use dark tones in their work. Their paintings might be beautiful, but they lack depth and contrast. When we embrace our shadow, we become like an artist who utilizes the full range of colors, both light and dark, to create a masterpiece. Integration doesn't mean acting on every dark impulse or letting the shadow rule your life. It means understanding and accepting these aspects as an essential part of your humanity. This acceptance nurtures compassion, not only for yourself, but also for others, revealing that everyone carries a shadow, a shared experience that connects us on a deep level. The journey to embrace your shadow is not a one-off event, it's a lifelong process. It requires patience, bravery, and a commitment to ongoing self-growth, yet the rewards are vast. You'll gain clarity about your purpose, a deeper inner peace, and the ability to live authentically. And here's a crucial insight: your purpose isn't solely about you. Jung believed that our individuation contributes to the collective unconscious, the shared reservoir of human experience. When you confront your shadow and align with your true self, you not only transform your own life, but you also inspire and uplift those around you. In the next segment, we'll explore practical steps to integrate your shadow into daily life. We'll discuss how embracing this hidden side can lead to healthier relationships, greater creativity, and a life that feels truly aligned with who you are. The most profound truth is yet to come. Stay with us as we reveal the final, most powerful insight that will tie everything together and illuminate the path to your highest potential. As we near the end of this journey, let's pause to consider the significance of our discoveries. The shadow, the hidden, often feared part of ourselves, is not a burden, but a gift waiting to be unveiled. It holds the key to our authenticity, our creativity, and ultimately, our purpose. But what does it mean to truly embrace your shadow? And how can this act of integration transform not only your inner world, but also your entire approach to life? To answer these questions, we must first confront a truth that Jung emphasized. We cannot achieve wholeness by denying parts of ourselves. True unity comes from harmonizing all aspects of our being. Jung famously stated that enlightenment is not attained by merely envisioning figures of light, but by bringing the darkness into consciousness. This is the essence of shadow work, not by rejecting the darkness, but by understanding it, owning it, and using it as fuel for personal growth. So, how do you make the darkness conscious? One profound method is through acts of vulnerability. When you openly acknowledge your fears, insecurities, and flaws, you strip them of their power to control you. Vulnerability isn't weakness, it's strength. It's the willingness to say, this is who I am, and I am enough. Reflect on your relationships. How often do we wear masks, showing only the parts of ourselves we believe others will accept? Although this habit is understandable, it builds a barrier between us and true connection. By embracing your shadow, you allow yourself to present your whole self, letting others see and love you for who you truly are. This authenticity is magnetic. It draws people in, builds trust, and fosters deeper, more meaningful relationships. And it's not just about personal connections. It's also about the impact you can have on the world. When you integrate your shadow, you end the internal conflict, and this inner peace radiates outward, influencing how you approach challenges, seize opportunities, and even understand your purpose. You become someone who acts from a state of wholeness rather than fragmentation. Consider purpose from this perspective. Many spend their lives searching for meaning as if it were external. Yet Jung teaches that purpose arises from within. It is the natural outcome of aligning with your true self, shadow included. Think about it. Your purpose isn't just what you do, it's who you are. A unique blend of your strengths, passions, and even struggles that shapes the way you contribute to the world. The shadow is a vital part of this equation. It isn't an obstacle to your purpose, but a guide. For example, someone who has battled feelings of unworthiness might find their calling in helping others recognize their own value. Similarly, someone who has wrestled with anger or frustration may channel that energy into creating systems of justice or advocacy. Your wounds can transform into wisdom. Now, let's consider the most profound insight of all. Jung believed that integrating the shadow not only transforms the individual, but also has the power to transform humanity. Why? Because by confronting your own darkness, you become more compassionate, understanding, and empathetic. You realize that your struggles aren't unique, but part of the shared human experience. Imagine a world where more people embrace their shadows instead of projecting their fears and insecurities onto others, acknowledging, healing, and growing from them, so that conflicts diminish, understanding deepens, and humanity moves closer to collective enlightenment. This is the true power of shadow work. It's not just about self-improvement, but about contributing to a more conscious, connected, and compassionate world. As we conclude, I challenge you to look within, not only at the parts of yourself you're proud of, but also at those you hide away. Ask yourself, what is my shadow trying to teach me? How can I use its lessons to live more authentically? What steps can I take today to begin this journey of integration? Remember, this isn't a one-time process. It's a lifelong journey, and every step brings you closer to the person you're meant to be, a person of depth, purpose, and wholeness. As we finish, I invite you to share your thoughts, reflections, and questions. What has this exploration of the shadow revealed to you? What resonates most deeply? Your insights might inspire someone else to take their first step on a similar path. This isn't the end. It's the beginning of a new chapter, one where you embrace every part of who you are and step boldly into the life you were destined to live. Thank you for joining me on this journey. May you find courage, wisdom, and peace as you continue to explore the depths of your being. Thank you for watching.